Whoa, I think that's the first subscriber this channel's gotten in like a year. Oh, holy moly. Good morning and welcome everybody to the Crypto Mining Show, your one-stop shop for all cryptocurrency news from the perspective of a cryptocurrency miner. I go by Blind Run on the internet and Matthew in real life, and while everything behind me looks pretty cleaned up, my desk is a mess because that's the way real life works. But today we're going to be talking about cryptocurrency. Yes, staked ETH, ST-ETH, the wrapped version of staked Ethereum, is basically depegging further and further from Ethereum, kind of unexpectedly running up to the merge if, you were a traditional retail investor. But of course, as the miners here and as a son of a tech viewers, you guys are aware that this was going to be a problem from the very get-go because we are aware that you are not going to be able to withdraw your Ethereum. We'll get into it later on a little bit more, but we also have more miner news. While we have essentially the worst margins ever on Bitcoin mining, well, it doesn't matter. Marathon Digital has energized another 25,000 miners this August. So that's getting pretty crazy, and it is going to get even more crazy because, of course, we got the winter-summer cycle now as opposed to the rainy season cycle that we had when a majority of the miners were over in China. So we'll get into that a little bit more as well. And there are more machines. CleanSpark is also energizing and buying more machines. They got another 10,000 units coming on. And then in a crazy, crazy turn of events to get rid of old stock, new old stock, right, from Nvidia, they are putting GDDR6X on 3060 Ti's. Not on the 3070s, interestingly enough, which is odd, but the 3060 Ti, I guess the thought here is that the 3070 Ti has GDDR6X, so why not put it on the 3060 Ti and try to sell a few extras? This could be pretty enticing for miners. We'll talk about that and why. And then we have a few announcements. We have CNETA and NETA staking announcements. We have a new miner from MiniZ. We have a new Explorer from Caspa. We have new listings for Flux. We have new listings for Ergo. And we have a new pool for Neoxa. So stuff is just, as far as the development goes across a lot of these proof of work coins that are not, Ethereum, we're seeing a lot of development. This is good news for everyone. Let's get into all of that and more right after a word from today's sponsor. And if you haven't signed up, yes, we're in a bear market. It means my conversion numbers are very low. I would appreciate it if you would use the affiliate link and promo code down below to get signed up with crypto.com, because they are also clearly, running through the bear market shifts as well. And we're going to be covering a little bit more of that too, because I asked them for some clarity on some things that happened recently. Hopefully I get an answer. But they're still around. They're still the best way to liquidate my cryptocurrency, in my humble opinion. Here's the ad. Today's sponsor is Crypto.com. Crypto.com is my go-to centralized exchange for liquidating my crypto assets. With their Crypto.com Visa debit card, I can load up my mined Ethereum to pay for power and other operating costs. In addition to the Visa debit card, there are additional fiat options, including wire transfers, to easily receive your profits. Crypto.com also offers additional services, including trading and even staking, to earn additional revenue on your investments. Join 10 million plus users buying and selling 100 plus cryptocurrencies at true cost by using my affiliate link in the description for a $25 funding bonus. Or enter referral code SOAT at sign up for the same bonus. Remember, cryptocurrency investment comes with significant risks, so do your own research. And welcome back, everybody. So a big shout out to Mr. Bitsby Trippin'. We are sipping out of his coffee cup. I need to tell him I need a right-handed version of this. I can't properly advertise for the OG cryptocurrency mining YouTuber if I'm not left-handed, because the other side doesn't have his logo, and then it's just the silver cup. And look, I tried to teach myself to be left-handed. I just couldn't do it, Carter. So help me out, bro. First things first, we have missed this. You know, Mini-Z's a little weird. They do their releases on their own website. I missed this, so apologies, but we did catch it finally. Mini-Z does have a new version, 1.9Z, that is out. I haven't tested this yet, but obviously for Nvidia GPUs, this could be a pretty big deal for different algorithm supports that they have added, especially running up to the merge. They added support for Conflux and the Octopus algorithms for Nvidia, so you definitely want to probably check that out. It's actually just quite incredible that Mini-Z's actually released anything, because it's been, you know, it had been a long time for a while, and then they kind of, you know, I think in April of this year, they started kind of releasing some stuff, but it had been a long time. They added the fan speed option for fan control on Nvidia, improved support for AMD GPUs. You know, even on the last update, the AMD GPUs weren't that impressive. I doubt that, you know, you're going to want to stick with that, especially now with LLL Miner version 1.55 kind of boosting that flux hash rate for you. They added the clock reset with Mini-Z and some minor bug fixes. So the big news here, obviously, Conflux Octopus algorithm, that being added. You know, they're really good at doing, I mean, pretty much Mini-Z is the go-to, not pretty much, Mini-Z is the go-to for mining flux on Nvidia GPUs. So you might want to check them out on the Conflux as well and see if there's any improvements there. Definitely worth taking a look at as far as all that is concerned. I have weird mouse sensitivity issues going on. Feels like it's too sensitive. And then in another turn of events, you know, these mining pools are really trying to pull as much revenue out of all of the proof of work miners as possible. And, you know, 2Miners is no different. It's good to see all the support and development, though. A Neoxa pool is now available on 2Miners. And there's a Neoxa solo pool as well. So if you don't want to build your own node for Neoxa and mine to it, you do have the option of mining solo as well. So there you go. Right now, currently a block reward for Neoxa is worth 4,250 Neoxa, which is worth $53.19. You may want to take a look at it. You know, it is what it is. The hash rate, though, obviously, some people were trying out the hash rate, spiked it way up, and it didn't seem to be working out too swell for them. So, you know, be careful. It's just also awesome to see, though, more support. Before we know it, we're gonna see Caspa on 2Miners, and it's gonna be like, holy moly, things are blowing up. And even more support, more stuff happening, right? This is pretty much what's gonna be going down, guys, is we're gonna be seeing all of these entities jumping on the bandwagons for coins we've been talking about for years, right? We've been talking about Ergo. We've been talking about Flux. We've been talking about Neoxa. We've been talking about Caspa. And pretty much from the wider market, it's fallen on deaf ears, right? No listings were not happening. Exchange listings weren't happening. You know, support on mining pools weren't happening. Like none of this stuff was happening. It was just lazy developers and exchanges and mining pools just being like, nah, you can mine ETH. That's what you get to do, right? That's pretty much how it's felt like. It's been like, you get to mine ETH and that's it. That's what you get to do. We're not going to add support for all this other stuff or whatever. And, you know, it takes until a week before, you know, that we start to see support for these other coins and they're all scrambling. And then like things like Hivon and everybody wants us to praise them and say, good job for adding support for Ergo a week before the f***ing merge. And it's like, no, that's your job. You should have done it a year ago. I don't need to praise you for your laziness and last minute updates. No, bro. It's a little frustrating is all I'm saying. But we do have a new listing for Ergo now on Hubai, and the deposit's open in 2.5 hours. Actually, it should be happening here a little bit pretty shortly, I think, if not already. So new support, new listing for Ergo here. And then we also have a new Flux listing on Bityard. So Bityard has now added support for Flux and USDT as well. So that is 2 new exchanges, and that is pretty awesome as far as everything goes. Then, as far as another announcement here, Caspa has gotten a new Explorer. Oh, Lordy, it's so much better than it was than Catnip. So the official explorer.caspa.org is up. Very clean. Super awesome. It's very lightweight. Its performance is absolutely, actually quite impressive. Everything's very snappy, very quick. So if you need to go over here and, you know, pull up your Caspa address and monitor it for any sort of solo mining you're doing, you can get that going. All the latest blocks are listed, blah, blah, blah. You know, you're good to go. You can go check out the wallet account balances. Check out all the, it's very clean. I'm super duper impressed with it as far as all that goes. They even got like the current US value of the block and all that sort of thing. So there you go. And this one has 2 million Caspa. Pretty neat. So what else do we have? CNETA and NETA staking. NETA staking is live with CNETA staking quickly approaching. In this article, we explain how NETA and CNETA staking function, the difference in APRs, release timelines, and aspects of both staking opportunities. The remainder of this article will discuss what's next and how to get involved with their community. Remember, NETA is essentially, so CNETA is on the Cardano blockchain and NETA is on the Ergo blockchain, and this is regarding staking for both of them. You can already stake NETA on ergopad.io, which I have actually already done and kind of gone over with you guys on the Twitch channel. But you know, if you would like me to do a dedicated video, let me know. We could definitely do that. It's pretty simple, pretty straightforward, so I don't think it's necessarily needed. But you know, if it is needed and I'm unaware, let me know. So they recently launched the NETA staking via the Ergo pad, like we just said. Thus far, over 100 million NETA has been staked with a total value of over $1 million. The return on stake is sitting around 12% APR. Over the next few weeks, they expect this will settle somewhere between 4 to 8% APR, considering the impending airdrops for NETA Angel holders. Remember, we're getting some more NETA Angel holder drops, which is pretty awesome. The official NETA BTC staking portal is nearly complete, but will not be released until CNETA staking is launched on Cardano's mainnet. At the time, both NETA and CNETA staking will be available on one platform. And so that means essentially, yes, right now staking is on ErgoPad. That's where it's being done through, but they are working on their own staking portal for a NETA BTC. And when that is done, you will be able to access not only CNETA or not only NETA on the Ergo platform, but CNETA on the Cardano platform as well. NETA staking on the NETA BTC staking portal utilizes the same smart contracts that are used on ErgoPad. In regard to CNETA staking, they expect they are at least another week out from launching. The last step is finalizing the batching architecture before they are ready to launch. The structure of CNETA staking is fairly simple. There are 2 options for staking: 6 months at 10% APR, so this is on the CNETA, right? And 12 months at 15% APR if you're interested in the Cardano side. You know, as far as this channel goes, we're kind of more just interested on the proof of work side of things, which means that we're interested in NETA and Ergo. The structure of NETA staking differs from CNETA staking in terms of APR and emission schedule. A total of 6.4 million NETA will be available for NETA staking to be distributed over 6 months. The APR, however, will depend on how many NETA tokens are staked on the NETA BTC staking portal, and thus will be dynamic through a staking period. For example, if 150 million NETA tokens are staked for 6 months, this would equate to about an 8.5% APY for all staking participants. Unlike CNETA, when staking NETA, your tokens are not locked. This means that they can be unstaked at any time without losing out on accrued rewards. You can also expect to receive your NETA token rewards daily. Given the more flexible nature of net of staking, they expect that the APR will be lower than the compared C net of staking. And that's because you're more flexible and you can pull out. You know what I mean? There's less commitment there. Less commitment. Less commitment means less rewards, right? That's all it is. In this article, we discuss the details and intricacies of both of it. Blah, blah, blah. We're done. We're good to go. We don't need the closing there. But we got basically Cardano staking coming on down the line. And then, of course, as far as it's concerned, you will have a new portal for staking. I don't know if they're going to move all the current stake from ErgoPad over to their own kind of portal and setup for staking. We'll have to wait and see. But ErgoPad right now, you can definitely get that done. So that's the final announcement for today. Lots of like releases and announcements to get through, but that is great. We're seeing tons of development just around everything, all these projects. And I think it's really good to see. It's the bear market blues are definitely here as far as the trading goes, but as far as the technology and the advancements and the development, we're seeing good improvements and good momentum forward. So I'm definitely excited to see all that from all of these different projects. Nvidia readies the RTX 3060 8GB and the RTX 3060 Ti with GDDR6X. And a 3070 Ti with the GA102 GPU. This is to clear, of course, the Ampere inventory ahead of the release of the Ada Lovelace. Nvidia is preparing to launch 3 new RTX 30 series graphics cards, including a new 3060, 3060 Ti, and a 3070 Ti, despite their next gen being introduced in 2 weeks. It is said Nvidia will be focusing on these cards mostly on OEMs and giving huge discounts to PC makers for refreshed graphics cards in a bid to clear away existing Ampere GPU inventory. Nvidia doesn't want to make a whole lot of noise around these SKUs, and as such, they will see a silent launch with the retail segment. Nvidia had several repurposed 20 series GPUs that were launched during the 30 series life cycle, so the same is going to happen with the outgoing 30 series. We have been told that Nvidia just recently forwarded the notification of the 3 models to AIBs, and it will include the 3060, the 3060 Ti, and the 3070 Ti. What's crazy is I feel like they're going to stomp on each other's feet. Look at this. Holy moly. We got a 3060 Ti with GDDR6X and a 256-bit bus. Wow. So if we look at like specifications for the current RTX 3060 Ti, what are we at, right? Like that's going to be better than the 3070 for sure too. I mean, it doesn't like, yeah, let's look at the 3070. A 256-bit bus with GDDR6X is pretty nuts. For comparison, and this isn't even really like, I mean, it's going to be faster than, memory-wise, it's going to be faster than a 3070. Because a 3070 is a 256-bit bus at GDDR6, so not 6X, and that's 448 gigabytes per second. And then the exciting part is it's only 8 gigabytes. Why is that exciting? Well, we know that GDDR6X gets hot, right? So when there's more of those modules on the PCB, it's harder to cool them. But if we're going to get 3060 Ti's with only 8 gigabytes of GDDR6X, you know, with a 256-bit bus, we could be sitting around 500 gigabytes per second. These could be pretty close. I believe that's pretty close, if not identical, to the 3070 Ti. Let's check the 3070 Ti. Yeah, so that's actually identical to the 3070 Ti, which is a 256-bit bus GDDR6X. So we're getting the 3060 Ti is going to be as fast as the 3070 Ti in mining, but we're going to have a cut down core. So because we have a cut down core, we're going to have basically the memory performance of a 3070 Ti, right? But with the low power consumption of the core on the 3060 Ti. These things are going to look pretty dang ballin', right? Like as it sits right now, the 3060 Ti with the GDDR6, like it's not as appealing as the 3070 because yes, you do technically can get a little bit less power consumption, but it's really not proving out to be true because you can't really keep it locked in. But now we're talking about basically 3070 power consumption levels with essentially 3070 Ti mining performance, memory-wise, at 608 gigabytes per second. So hopefully, you know, obviously they're saying these are going to AIBs. I don't know if you'll be able to get your hands on them, but that is extremely impressive. And then they have a 3060 that will be utilizing a cut down 8 gigabyte and 128-bit bus from its original 12 gigabyte 192-bit design. So the 3060 you want to kind of avoid at this point, right? But the 3070 or the 3060 Ti, sorry, is going to be one that you definitely want to pick up. That's a pretty impressive memory improvement from basically 150 gigabytes per second upgrade on the memory improvement. So that's pretty cool. Now, for clarification for everybody, what this means is that memory intensive algorithms will see a huge improvement on the 3060 Ti with this upgrade. That would include, but not limited to, things like Ethereum Ethereum Classic, right, and Ergo. And then if we were talking about core intensive, it depends on which algorithm we're talking about because there are still improvements for memory speeds to some algorithms based on just how they function if they're using core and some memory. So examples of those would be like Flux and Ravencoin. And then there would be no improvement on algorithms that primarily use core and no memory. An example of that would be Caspa. So there are all of the examples and the differences between them. That's why like Caspa will run pretty cool, for example, because it's not using any memory. And then Ethereum and Ergo will run cool because it's not using any core pretty much, right? But the ones in between are using both, like the Ravencoin and the Flux will boost up those heat requirements and power requirements pretty quick. All right, let's get into all of the upgrades for the new Bitcoin miners. They're just cranking out new machines, new investments, all of that sort of thing. Bitcoin miner CleanSpark buys 10,000 new machines for $28 million after discounts and credits. The company has been taking advantage of opportunities to expand in the bear market. All right, so what does this mean? Bitcoin miner CleanSpark has purchased 10,000 new Bitmain Antminer S19J Pros for $28 million after credits and discounts, a significant markdown from the manufacturer's listed price. The mining rigs were purchased from hardware broker Cryptech Solutions for about $28 per terahash. All right, there we go. Needed some water to clear the throat. According to a Wednesday press release versus the 96 dollars a terahash marked on the manufacturer's website on which they are sold out. Mining rig prices are often noted in dollars per terahash, a measure of computing power instead of the per machine price. During the tail end of the bull market last year, we strategically focused on building infrastructure instead of following the then industry trend of pre-ordering equipment months in advance, which has put CleanSpark in a position to buy rigs at discounts throughout the bear market, said CleanSpark CEO Zach Bradford. And we talked about this strategy and we said that this was the best strategy, right? And this is a strategy that I tried to perform as well. Unfortunately, I got effed a little bit by my current power company provider, but I was trying to upgrade, of course, the facility first during the bull run as opposed to buy more equipment. But unfortunately, I ended up in a position where I just couldn't push through and get anything upgraded. So I'm supposed to have 800 amps right at this point, but I don't. It is what it is. It's the latest in a number of moves by CleanSpark to find spots for growth during the bear market. The company in June bought contracts for 1,800 machines, and in July acquired another 1,061 rigs. In August, CleanSpark acquired a new mining facility with 3,400 machines. Taking into account all the acquisitions, the firm said it would reach 5 exahash a second of hash rate by the end of the year. So I think like clearly CleanSpark is the one that is coming out on top with their strategy of basically investing in infrastructure during the bull run. Because why? Well, your infrastructure isn't going to be any more expensive. I mean, in theory, right? There's other macroeconomic issues that happened here. But in theory, during the bull run, your infrastructure isn't going to be any cheaper or more expensive as it would be during a bear market. So during a bull runs, when you would want to invest in things like facilities, power improvements, power upgrades, all that sort of stuff, and then all the equipment that is usually inflated during the bull run, you would want to buy during the bear market. So it's a pretty good strategy overall, and I think the one that you would want to implement if possible, right? Now's the time to be getting miners if your goal is to be mining, right? Bitcoin miner Marathon Digital, however, said it also energized about 25,000 previously installed miners in August, adding about 2.5 exahash per second in computing power and bringing the total hash rate to 3.2 exahash a second. The company produced 184 Bitcoin in August, bringing the year-to-date total to 2,222. Month-end Bitcoin holdings rose to 10,311 with a fair market value of $206.7 million. No coins were sold during the month. Marathon sees about 65,000 additional miners, or 6.9 exahash a second of capacity, being online over the next 90 days. Of course, that's going to be thanks to the winter months as well over the next 90 days. Energization delays along with the weather-related issues had caused Bitcoin mining production to fall to 707 in the second quarter from 1,259 in the previous 3 months. Marathon shares fell 2.3% along a slide in the price of Bitcoin below $19,000. The stock's little changed in the after-hours action. So there you go. As far as the two moves from the mining companies that have been going on, it's been a while since we've heard from them, so it's good to hear from them. It's clear that obviously we are going into this new realm of, I guess, Western-based cryptocurrency mining, specifically Bitcoin mining, where we will see the season not surround the Chinese rainy market, but we will see it surrounding the U.S. summer to winter market. So that means that typically what we're going to see now is low hash rates in the summer months for the United States on the Bitcoin network. And then when we get to the winter, we will see it come back up as temperatures cool off. But of course, I mean, even into September, we're setting record high temperatures. Pretty crazy. I heard in California, they're also seeing temperatures of up to 118 degrees right now, Fahrenheit. So try to stay cool out there, guys. Hopefully your power is not getting rotated too much. I know as far as mining goes, you've kind of gotten kicked out of that already for the pricing. And now, it's hard to keep the homes powered up and cooled off. So I hope the best to everybody that's, sitting in California now. It is what it is. Let's talk about staked Ethereum. And its price discount widens to the most since June ahead of the Ethereum merge. The discount in Lido's staked Ether is widening, perhaps due to holders switching to Ethereum ahead of the merge. Why are people switching to Ethereum? We predicted this, yesterday, right? Was it yesterday we talked about this, guys, or was it Monday? Why is this happening? Well, there's kind of this cash grab going on right now. What is the cash grab? Well, the cash grab is that Justin Sun and Chandler Go have promised people that if they hold actual ETH during the merge transition, that they will also get paid out some WETH or ETHW, depending on how they decide to denote it, which is the proof of work fork version post-merge. And what that means is that people are starting to pull out so that they get this cash grab kind of gold rush of proof of work ETH that then they'll dump on the market right after they get it. So this is kind of influencing traders and people to pull out of, anything that is not layer 1 Ethereum. So that could be WETH as well. And we'll have to wait and see what that happens, but we can see it already happening with staked ETH, right? That we've talked about this week. In one such case, the discount between the price of liquid staking protocol Lido staked Ethereum and the price of Ether widened about to 4.5%, the most since late June, according to data from Dune Analytics. The discount partly stems from investors' concerns of missing the opportunity to gain a potential Ethereum forked token, ETH Proof of Work, which we just talked about, according to CK Cheng, an investment analyst at Defiance Capital. While most of the Ethereum community favors switching to a proof-of-stake consensus mechanism for validating transactions, I don't know that that's true, but I don't know. It's hard to tell because obviously we have our own little echo chamber of proof of work miners. So I know if I put a poll here, we would vote for proof of work over proof of stake. But do you guys think that a majority of Ethereum community members favor proof of stake? I mean, at this point, I guess you would consider yourself not an Ethereum community member also if you're pro proof of work. So I don't know. If they succeed, the chain will fork, splitting into proof of work and proof of stake chains at the time of the merge, scheduled for September 13th to the 15th. The latter would have ETH proof of work as a native token and ETH holders to receive it for free. Traders holding derivatives tied to Ether or other Ether related tokens like STETH won't receive it. That may have prompted STETH holders to sell their tokens in exchange for Ether to position for a potential ETH proof of work airdrop or distribution. Each STETH token represents one staked Ethereum token and can be redeemed for ETH at some point later after the merge. However, STETH holders can swap their tokens for ETH on a decentralized exchange like Curve. STETH may come under pressure as regular holders switch to ETH to gain upside on ETH proof of work, research firm Block Analytic wrote in the Aave risk mitigation plan published last month. And remember, Aave recently closed the door for traders looking to borrow ETH ahead of the merge on concerns of the increased borrowing demand for Ether would expose the decentralized lending and borrowing platform to liquidity issues. Here's the question I have, though. Tell me if this, because this doesn't add up to me. If everybody is pro proof of stake for Ethereum, then why are there so many people wanting to participate in the fork airdrop? It's a little weird. To the point to where it's literally causing potential liquidity issues with borrowing and lending platforms. That decision spurred a bankrupt Singapore-based crypto hedge fund, Three Arrows Capital, to remove $33 million worth of staked Ethereum from Curve's STETH ETH pool. According to Adam Cochran, the founder of crypto fund Cinnamahane Ventures. Aave paused the ETH markets. We're aware of that. Griffin Arden, there we go, a volatility trader from crypto asset management firm Blofin, said the lack of clarity on what happens after the merge could also be driving the STETH holders to switch to ETH. The Ethereum merge may introduce additional uncertainty and risk, so holding ETH would be more appropriate than STETH. In addition, STETH is still in the pledge process and has not been unlocked, Arden told CoinDesk. There we go. You're correct. In a downward bear market, it is better to hold a spot Ether than hold a bond of the same face value, he said. The May to June market pool showed that an imbalance of STETH and ETH liquidity pool on Curve can complicate the exit for STETH holders. At press time, the pool has reserves of 1,057,361, of Ether and 5,028,460 of ST ETH. So what this means is there's a huge imbalance, right? There's way more ST ETH in the liquidity pool than ETH. So really, people can only trade and get out basically, I don't know what number this is. This doesn't make sense. It's got to be 1,570,000, I think, but they put these numbers in weird. Anyways, you can only basically move for like 20% of the available ETH, meaning that you run out of ETH and you just get stuck with a bunch of ST ETH. We've talked about this a lot before. CoinDesk reached out to Lido for comment on the renewed widening of the ST ETH discount and had not received a response at press time. ST ETH is not supposed to maintain a 1-to-1 ETH peg in the way stablecoins should with their external reference. However, the discount became a focal point of experts trying to monitor extreme stress in digital asset markets following the collapse of the algorithmic stablecoin Terra and Three Arrows Capital last year. So there you go, as far as the widening gap goes and the couple reasons behind it. If the reasons truly are to actually get some sort of, ETH proof of work token, the question goes back to, like I said, kind of like, if everybody's supporting the move to proof of stake, why do they even care about getting some ETH proof of work tokens? I guess greed does drive a lot of people regardless, though. Let's go ahead and run the ad before getting into mining profitability for the day. Today's sponsor is Crypto.com. Crypto.com is my go-to centralized exchange for liquidating my crypto assets. With their Crypto.com Visa debit card, I can load up my mined Ethereum to pay for power and other operating costs. In addition to the Visa debit card, there are additional fiat options, including wire transfers, to easily receive your profits. Crypto.com also offers additional services, including trading and even staking, to earn additional revenue on your investments. Join 10 million plus users buying and selling 100 plus cryptocurrencies at true cost by using my affiliate link in the description for a $25 funding bonus. Or enter referral code SOAT at sign up for the same bonus. Remember, cryptocurrency investment comes with significant risks, so do your own research. All right, and welcome back, everybody. So first things first, we got 4.68 gigahash a second on the network right now for Ethereum. The rest is mining currently a mix of Ergo and Caspa. Not dual mining. There is a new beta for dual mining Ergo Caspa. I haven't tested it out yet. Part of the problem is it's so hot, I can only really mine one or the other right now, unfortunately, on these cards. And with the memory modules on the back of the 3090, I've thrown all my 3090s to Caspa because it doesn't use any of the memory modules and it keeps everything nice and cool. And it's kind of nice to just have that option of like not worrying about it. But we actually had a pretty bad day yesterday. Some rigs went down and I went out and got them back up. It's mainly because it's extremely hot still. I'm pretty disappointed with a lot of the people I've been working with. That's pretty much all I can really say at this point. But I should have had ventilation in like a month ago. Like I was promised a month ago. I was supposed to have ventilation in a year and a half ago. And then now it doesn't even really matter because the power company's screwing me so hard. It's like, I don't know. I'm losing my will to continue sometimes in this market and with everything that's going on. But we push on. That being said, our projected is $101 US for the next 24 hours at 0.066 ETH. And then we have some Asics and stuff like that online. Nothing really relevant. I did notice that we had a drop of about 15% on Dogecoin. So our Dogecoin mining is down a little bit. I don't know if the difficulty went up or what. But I'm talking about specifically the amount of Dogecoin, not the amount of US dollar converted Dogecoin, if that makes sense. Well, let's take a look at what to mine, which is for the RTX 3090 with corrected ZIL hash, Kapow, ProgPow, and Firo proof of work at 10 cents a kilowatt hour. Ethereum is in first at $264 a day in revenue and $1.87 a day after power. Cero in second at $239 a day in revenue and $1.60 a day after power. And Neoxa at $229 a day in revenue and $1.50 a day after power. Ravencoin at $225 a day in revenue and $1.46 a day after power. Flux at $219 a day in revenue and $1.49 a day after power. Conflux at $201 a day in revenue and $1.22 a day after power. Firo $1.85 a day in revenue and $1.11 a day after power. Ergo at $1.75 a day in revenue and $1.13 a day after power. And then we got to scroll down pretty far to get to the Ethereum Classic, which has dropped pretty significantly from yesterday to $1.43 a day in revenue and 67 cents a day after power. I expect a lot of this to get worse and worse. We're just going to have to sit back and see what happens, as it rolls through. Now, let's go ahead and look at the hash rates on the networks. We got Bitcoin that we always start with. It still actually is down to 233 exahash a second. I would assume that's because our heat waves are kind of coming back. September is not proving out to be friendly to miners as far as temperatures go here stateside. And we expect this to start going back up into the winter months. But maybe we just don't have winters anymore. Who knows at this point? If you got Northern California with record high, like 118 degrees, I don't know. Maybe the government's manipulating the weather and we're just screwed at this point. I have no idea because it doesn't even make sense. Of course, there's the global warming argument as well. It was more fun to go with the tinfoil hat, but let's get into Ethereum as well. So it is sitting around 932 terahash a second. And that has not really changed. Ethereum Classic, on the other hand, still sitting at 50.9 terahash a second. And it is still up over the past 7 days at 8.94%. It's pretty crazy that we saw this big pump up. We were talking about this yesterday. And then yesterday, just the whole market just absolutely collapsed. These proof of work coins, though, are still functioning a lot better than the Ethereum, right? Like you look at Ethereum, it's down 3%, but you look at Ethereum Classic over the past 7 days, it's actually up 9%. So still looking like a lot of these proof of work coins are doing better than Ethereum in general and Bitcoin too. These GPU mineable coins, which is kind of what we're interested in as a whole. Let's take a look at Flux, though, see how this carries out across the board. Yeah, see, Flux is still up over the past 7 days, 23%, and it's at 2.65 mega solutions a second, which is pretty crazy. So then we look at something like Ravencoin, and I think Ravencoin was up as well still. Yeah, 25% up over the past 7 days, and at 3.84 terahash a second, which is pretty cool. And then we got Neoxa, which people are pretty interested in, of course, which is sitting at 1.52 terahash a second right now. And that does kind of put it out of danger for attacks from Ravencoin, which is good. And it's up 210% over the past 20 whatever or 7 days, right? So it's pretty crazy as far as that goes. Ergo, I don't think it's been performing as well. No, it is. It's still pretty close to $5 at $4.91 a day, up 50% over the past 7 days. It's sitting at 26 terahash a second. And then if we take a look at Caspa, what do we got going on there? Caspa up 4 or 5% over the past 7 days and is sitting at 80 terahash a second, with 45 of that on pools. So about half of the hash rate still being solo, which is pretty incredible. Not something you typically see. So that's pretty cool. Mining pool profits. About to be completely irrelevant, right? But the past 90 days, ZET in first, crazy pool in second, Ether mine in third. Last 60 days, ZET in first, nano pool in second, mining pool up in third. Last 30 days, ZET in first, crazy pool in second, nano pool in third. Last 14 days, ZET in first, crazy pool in second, mining pool up in third. Last 7 days, ZET in first, crazy pool in second, mining pool up in third. Last 3 days, Crazy Pool in first, ZET in second, Nano Pool in third. And for the last days, CET in first, Crazy Pool in second, Flex Pool in third. Asic mining profitability. We talked about this still being down. The only one still doing good is the GPU mineable coins. That's why we stick behind them. Antminer E9, though, still sitting at $55. Antminer L7 has dropped another couple dollars down to $16 a day. I told you guys I was feeling this profitability go down on my particular script miner, so not shocked to see that decrease. And then if we scroll down, the KD6 is up $1 a day. It's still really not looking that great for a unit that less than a year ago cost $60,000. It's at $7.21 a day. And then if we scroll down to the S19 Pro, what are we looking at? S19 Pro at $2.29 a day. So it dropped about another 60 cents today. Pretty rough stuff. 70 cents. Margins are very, very tight on that Bitcoin mining. Let's go ahead and get into questions and answers. Remember, super chats are never required, always appreciated, first to be answered. If you tag at Son of a Tech, it highlights the message orange, making it easier for me to read. Don't forget to check out sonofatech.locals.com. It's free to become a member over there, and we are trying to hit the 800 member goal. So, at least become a member. I could definitely use the support. I think right now over there we're doing about $120 a week, which, definitely helps. Some coffee money, all that sort of stuff. So I want to thank all the supporters that are over there right now. If we could get that a little bit higher, it'd be nice, but it is what it is. I'm not going to complain. We can just find a good job and keep going through the bear market. It's all good. Let's see though. Let's get into some. We'll scroll up and see what some people are saying. Gabe said, at Son of a Tech, does bus matter much if you're running core algorithms? I think we described that already. You have algorithms that are a little bit of core, a little bit of, maybe more heavily core, but definitely still use memory. Examples of that, right? You're talking about Ravencoin and Flux. You will still see some benefits from memory bus increase, right? Bus size, memory bandwidth specifically, right? So there's that. But then on something like Caspa, it's only core. It's not going to matter at all. And then, of course, there's the actual memory intensive ones like Ergo. You say, does bus size help in Ergo? Yes, bus size helps significantly in Ergo. Specifically, memory bandwidth helps a bunch in Ergo. Paul D says, at Son of a Tech, people just want the ETH proof of work so they can dump it. They don't have some underlying principles. I think I agree with you. Miller Mining Company says, at Son of a Tech, beta for dual mining Ergo and Caspa. Which miner? I believe, let me check the community post. This is why you should be a member over at sonofatech.locals.com, where our members post this type of thing, and you can get ahead of the game. The beta, and this comes from IoTAPI, IoT API, I think is actually what it's supposed to stand for. Thank you, good sir, for posting this. He posted this over in the locals chat or on the locals wall, and it is the BZ miner, and he has Ergo and Caspa currently dual mining that on his Nvidia GPUs. It looks like his 3080 unoptimized is doing 146 megahash a second on Ergo, while it's doing 148 megahash a second on Caspa, and his 3060 Ti is doing 92 megahash a second on Ergo, while it's doing 137 megahash a second on Caspa. So he's got that up and running over there. Definitely go check it out and make sure that you guys become members over at Locals. It's free to become a member. So, become a member. And then if you guys decide that you want to help support the channel, you can do that as well. That'll get you access to other, basically, what do you call it? Subscriber only posts or supporter only posts. But there you go. Well, lots of good information over there. And you can browse it more like Twitter, so it's a little bit easier than Rocket Chat. Rocket Chat's more like the chat. I want live chat, and then this is more like, it's basically Locals is like Twitter, just for Son of a Tech. Should you buy, says Asamatech, good sir, did we all miss the fact that the golden age of mining just passed and we didn't even realize it, and that it may never be the same again? I don't think that you can make that. I think the golden age is about to hit. Here's why. Look, there was a time in mining, and a lot of y'all probably don't remember this, but there was a time in mining where it was fun, it was interesting, and you were able to mine a lot of different coins, right? And then that kind of went away. It just went away, and all you had was you mined Ethereum. Everybody mined Ethereum, and that was it, right? Well, boys, we're about to go back to the wild, wild west, and I think it will have a kind of a renaissance of such. I think we're going to see Ergo and Flux really take off. I think that we're going to see, possibly though, like in conjunction with that, some more regulation coming around proof of work, but I think that it's going to be really interesting. So I think that there's potential for a second coming of GPU mining specifically. Gamer Kid says that Asamatech LOL miner is updated, and now if you're still looking, LOL miner is updated in HiveOS, yeah. Happy Dictator says, Asamatech, I'm thinking about spec mining Conflux during the merge, seeing if it's even compatible. What do you think about Conflux? Conflux is a weird one. You can definitely do it. They're doing like a snapshot of Ethereum. I don't know if that was what they should have spent their time on. Tanner says, Asamatech, I tested out my 3060s on Caspa, and they were the only GPUs I had an issue with. They refused to go any lower than 100 watts in HiveOS. Any insight? Well, of course they're going to use more power because it's core intensive, right? I don't see why 100 watts would be terrible on a 3060 on a core intensive algorithm. I don't know what your hash rate is. We could always go to the Google sheet and take a look. Which we did the video on. And my 3060 is at, what were we sitting at? 136 watts and 382 mega hash a second. And then, you know, you can check out that video if you want to as well. Here. I mean, all the answers are there for you all. We post them. There you go. That video covers all the hash rates, and it has a link to a whole chart in Google Sheets if you want to review that. Ricardo says, Asamatech, do you agree this will be a great GPU reset in mining? The blockchains that need the security will get it and thrive in a valid ecosystem, bringing in new users. Yeah, I think that, like, obviously this is a big reset in GPU mining, and it's going to be really interesting to see. Like, clearly there isn't enough revenue to pay everybody for the security for the amount of GPUs that are out there, and it's going to take time to shake out. But once it shakes out, it'll be really interesting. Foot Liquor says, Asamatech, do you play Dota 2? No. I mean, I have played it, but I do not actively play it, no. Crypto or Die, thank you for the $2 super chat. Says, how much of Bitcoin hash rate in the top 10 public miners? I don't know how much. I'd have to go like Google that and look it up. I do not know that. The answer to that. Dang, we blew through topics today, boys. Rip Vance said, at Asamatech, would you ever mine ETH proof of work? Yeah, like if ETH proof of stake completely fails and all the devs move to ETH proof of work, then I don't see why I wouldn't mine it. right? Highly unlikely, I think. XDX says Son of a Tech is the percent of max supply of Ergo on CoinMarketCap accurate? I believe that was just fixed a couple days ago according to the Ergo Twitter account. So yes, it is accurate. Tanner Caldwell says that Son of a Tech hash rate was around 370 megahash a second on 3060s. Since the 3070s I have run at 580 megahash a second at 110 watts. I figured I could pull the 3060s down lower. It's gonna be dependent on how much core has to get pulled, right? I assumed you locked the memory down though too. Zeigmeister says, what are your plans for mining profits portion of the show after the merge? Probably not going to talk about it at all. Probably just going to be solo mining shit. And I'll have to track it later. Dan San says, that's Son of a Tech recommending doing polls every morning. They are fun. Yeah, well, what polls? Well, no, we did a poll yesterday. Polytechical says, as Son of a Tech, in my opinion, crypto fundamentals are the only thing that matter. I mean, obviously the fundamentals matter. But I think some would argue that definitely revenue or profitability matters when it comes to mining. And that's not always tied to fundamentals. Crypto or Die says that Son of a Tech was just wondering how centralized Bitcoin has gotten with these new orders for like 10,000 miners going to the public companies. I don't think that you have really like a worry of, look, like Bitcoin's incentivized too much for it to have like an issue of somebody attacking it from a mining hash rate centralization point of view. Centralization of hash power, though, is not near as bad as it used to be. Like post-China, it's kind of like not even... It's like literally not a concern anymore if you compared it to like a year and a half, 2 years ago when everything was in China. Doc Duggan says, that's Son of a Tech. This is the best part of the show. Don't always get to load up and leave the stream running for hits, but always appreciate the content. Sweet, dude. Glad you like the Q&A. Kyle Russell says, that's Son of a Tech. How much hash rate do you recommend to have solo mining Erg, Cas, and Neoxa? Ergo, like, I think it's... Ergo's probably like at least 10 gigahash a second now. Caspa, you know, I mean, really, one gigahash a second's gonna be fine. On Caspa, you'll find a block a day. Neoxa, I have no idea. Brandon says, that's Son of a Tech. I'm back to working on the Caspa Stratum bridge. Hit me up on locals if you have any requests. Yeah, I mean, like, obviously, I gotta go check out the new bridge that you got going. Right now, I'm mining directly to the node. Tony Denion says, ask Son of a Tech, what do you think about Neoxa? A lot of hype surrounding it. Play to earn is cool. I'm not sure about licensing and regulations and all that and how that'll impact them later on down the line. There doesn't seem to be an incentive to do anything else but sell the Neoxa. So the price pump is curious, at least until there's like a reason to purchase things in game with it, which is definitely something that could come down the line, right? And I think will come down the line. The algorithm is trash for mining. I hate Kapow. So there's that. And that obviously had opened them up to attack vectors because of the amount of hash rate that was on Ravencoin that was ever able to go over to it. And we all know that the Ravencoin community is a little competitive, I suppose. So it's not surprising that they attacked Neoxa. Very immature. But, you know, they're the type of community that will, you know, pay for bots to vote on polls on Twitter. So, you know, not super surprising that they attacked the network. That attack does mean that your liquidation is very slow on Neoxa, though, too, because all the confirmations. So Neoxa's in a weird spot, right? Neoxa is a weird one. Dan Sand says, ask Tech if Kapow is trash and hot, why do so many coins use it? Well, pretty simple. Ravencoin, who developed it, right, made it completely open source. Anybody can fork it and use it. And it has, it's the reason why Kapow is used so much is because it's so easy to use. It's the laziest coin to fork. It's the easiest one to build. That's why there's so many forks of it. It's just easy and you can be a lazy dev and fork it and have a coin up and running. It's a lot harder to develop your own algorithm and all of that. And then if you're trying to fork a different one, right, it's more difficult too, depending on which one it is. Like nobody's going to be like, nobody right now is trying to fork like Ergo and Autolicos, right? Polytechnical says, as Tech Raven people attack centralized garbage because we know what works and what doesn't. So as a community member, you're admitting to attacking another project and double spending, which is illegal. Cool, bro. Chadwick says, as Tech Kapow has been the most stable mining I've had. Lots of crashes with ETH. That's interesting. Why do you have lots of crashes with ETH? Do you think like the memory modules are having issues on your cards? That would tell me that like your cards are able to perform better on the core and you may be having memory stability issues. Crypto Die says, ask Tech, how's the Soakcoin Komodo fork coming along? It's not. I'm working too much on other stuff. Dan Sand says, ask Tech, do you think possible for Flux to change their code for less hot mining, or is it always going to be hot? That's a weird question. They're moving. I mean, I don't think that they're going to switch their algorithm until they go to, proof of useful work. And the thing is, like, if we're being completely honest about proof of useful work, it completely changes the way you build miners, right? Like, most of the mining infrastructure for GPU mining is not going to be compatible with proof of useful work. So I think it puts it in a really awkward position because your octo miners aren't going to work because they aren't by 8 lanes. Even though they are full slots, they're not getting a full by 8 to the CPU. So I don't know. I see a lot of issues with proof of useful work. Like, it's not going to be like just a switch it over in Hive OS and go. Like, it's not going to work, right? So, and the amount of cost to literally take all of your GPUs and put them on by 8 lanes is going to be astronomical, right? The only type of like hardware that's going to support that in a single system is going to be like your Epic servers and your Epic like AMD CPUs, right? That have a bunch of support for a bunch of PCIe lanes. And then once you're doing that, you're really at the point to where you may as well just shift into like high powered computing data center, because you'll probably make more money doing that than you will doing proof of useful work. You know what I mean? It's just very weird. Polytackle wants to say the reason that people use the Kapow is because it's ASIC resistant and open source. Yeah, I said it was open source. That's the reason why. It's the easiest one to fork. That's why. Anybody in there, like anybody can do it. It's like the same reason why there was a bunch of Zcash coins and whatnot for a while. It's the same reason there's so many script coins. Chadwick says that he also is very stable with Caspa core. Autolicos, interesting because Autolicos is memory. And he says that they crash on ETH a lot. It's interesting. Agrigarker Visual says, that's something I just wanted to say that I respect your approach to this whole crypto thing. So many influencers pick sides and shill coins. What you do is not easy. Staying neutral is the hard way. No, I mean, like, I definitely have my biases, but I make them clear, right? And I try to explain why I have them or whatever. Crypto Mikkel says, I do agree. Soon we'll have to have enterprise level hardware to use proof of useful work. Yeah, and at that point, it's like, if you're running that type of infrastructure and all you're doing is mining a coin, like, I think you're just leaving a shit ton of money on the table. Mo Gadir says, Ask Tech, is that a bad thing being open source like that? No, it's not a bad thing. It just means that look, what it means is just because a project uses Kapow doesn't mean the project is fucking good. It just means it was fucking easy. The people use it because it's easy. So that means that it is the laziest one that they could do. So just because a project is Kapow doesn't mean that you should respect or use that project, right? So it doesn't mean that because Neoxa uses Kapow, Kapow is any better, or Neoxa is good because it uses Kapow. Because it's just easy. It's like just because somebody uses a script algorithm doesn't mean that it's a good coin. Open source is always better. But open source also means that if somebody takes that open source project and utilizes it, it doesn't mean that the company that's utilizing that open source project is good. Polytechnical says, why did you accuse you of BS called double spending? Because double spending attack is what happened. And you said Ravencoin, you said we, implying, I guess, the Ravencoin community, we attacked a centralized coin, Neoxa, You said we attacked it because it's a centralized coin. Those are your words, bro. So my assumption by reading that, and maybe you want to rethink how you type that out next time, my assumption is that you participated in the attack on Neoxa and were aware of it. That's why I said that. Kurosaki's Corner says, "Ask Simon Tech, are you on good terms with Chump Change?" I don't really talk to him. Detroit Irish says, "Ask Simon Tech, could you grab an F ton of gaming Mobo that have 3x16 slots?" Yeah, you could do that, Detroit. I think, though, at that point, you're going to be pretty unreliable. And you have to be careful. Like the old Intels, they may have 3x16 slots, but usually only 2 of them will run by 8, right? If you go into the 3, then they're going to run by 4. The real question is going to be, how much of the lanes do you need to perform that work, right? Chadwick says, Assam Attack 100%. It's easy to fork. So is the Ghost Rider Raptorium project. Yeah, another one that was open source. And Ghost Rider algorithm has been used a ton. And we have seen obviously some pretty poor projects come out of that too, right? So it doesn't mean that the algorithm is bad. It doesn't mean that it's bad that it's open source. It just means that it's not necessarily mean that the project that's utilizing it is good, right? Now, if I'm looking for projects to spec mine, projects that I'm interested in, whatever, I'm actually kind of looking for projects that modified algorithms, right? I actually had this discussion regarding Conceal, right? Conceal just uses essentially Crypto Night GPU or CNGPU, right? Well, a ton of coins use CNGPU because it's easy to fork and blah, blah, blah. And you can just add it in. It's no big deal. It means that they had low effort, right? So when I look at a project, if I see that it's Kapow, I immediately think, oh, okay, they're just forking it to make a quick buck. That's typically what I think right off the bat. If I see it as Ghost Rider, I think, okay, they're just doing this to make a quick buck. That's how I see it with these easy to fork coins, right? If I see Equihash from Komodo, I know they're just forking Komodo, right? And I go, okay, probably, whatever, not that big of a deal. But then if I see, something like Caspa is a good example of one that's kind of out there, right? Caspa uses heavy hash, which was already developed for optical BTC or OBTC. However, they did modify it, right? So at least there was some modification to it, right? To the algorithm, which tells me that they're aware of how to work with that, right? It's why Ravencoin would be better than anything that's forked from Ravencoin, right? Because Ravencoin has gone through, they've developed, as far as from a development standpoint, they've developed 3 different algorithms, right? X16, VR, whatever, and then R2, and then Kapow. So that makes sense, right? From that perspective. You look at the projects that are developing the algorithms, not the projects that are forking the algorithms. Does that make sense? Dan San says, seems like we should support Autolicos. I think Autolicos is good, yeah. Kurosaki's Corner says, Ask Tech every weekend. They have a mining round table, usually with max voltage. I know, I've seen it. I've seen it. LZ says, Ask Tech, I'm back from a 3-week crypto abstinence vacation. Probably good to take a 3-week off. You came back at a terrible time. A good mental break. Anyone else ever exhausted by the crypto game? I mean, obviously, I do this every morning. It's all I talk about. It's all I do. And then we're going to stream on Twitch, and it's all we're going to talk about and all we're going to do all day. It's what I do all day, every day. Yeah, me personally, I am experiencing burnout here and there. But what are you going to do, right? What are you going to do? It's okay. I like talking about it. It's fun. But yeah, I think you guys can, like, there's definitely been like some times over the past week or two but definitely this week where I've been definitely like stressed out. Being sick doesn't help, right? A shorter fuse. I have a shorter fuse right now. My tolerance for the bullshit is low. Ulix says, at Tech, if it shows up in the Moonshot subreddit, it's quick buck. Yeah, Detroit Iris says it took development, not just copying somebody else's homework. Yep, that's pretty much what we're looking at with most of those. Ryan Casper says, at Tech, I have a 1.2T Polaris card from a farm. A 1.2 terahash Polaris card farm? Am I screwed at 9 cents electricity? I don't know, 1.2 terahash? For real? Are you screwed at 9 cents electricity? I don't know, man. Yeah, Polaris is looking pretty rough. Have you tested on Ravencoin now with the new LOL miner update? I think Polaris gets a little bit of a boost. Oh, 1200 mega hash. I'm about to be like, bro, that's a lot of money. So 1.2 gigahash. Is that right? Yeah, there's not a lot for the Polaris GPUs right now. I don't know, man. I definitely feel like, I hate to be like a downer, but I definitely feel like the Polaris GPUs are in the worst position they could ever be in with the merge. I don't think that there's a lot of hope for Polaris GPUs. Mining King says, that's time attack. Hopefully Team Red Miner makes some improvements like LOL Miner for Flux. Yeah, that'd be good. Or Mini Z, right? Polly says, ask Amatech, can you believe all these Polaris cards are still hashing like champions? Yeah, I mean they're tanks, right? But then like if we look at their efficiency on pretty much any other algorithm, it's looking pretty rough. I mean, if there's some huge price discovery on Ethereum Classic, you're probably safe, right? I don't know. I turned all my 580s off. That ends it, boys. It's 11 o'clock. We'll be back on tomorrow. Same time. Same topic. Cryptocurrency from the perspective of a cryptocurrency miner. I want to thank everybody for all the support here recently. Yesterday, we broke 500 concurrent viewers. That was pretty awesome. We are going to go over to twitch.tv right now. Well, actually, I'm going to go hit the sauna, I think, first. And then I'm going to be on twitch.tv/blindrun at hopefully noon. We'll do our segment over there from noon to 2. Hopefully play some Rust maybe, or if not, we'll play something else. And then I have some one-on-ones and stuff like that. And then tonight we'll try to stream 9 to midnight as well over on Twitch. So I am going to go try to hit the sauna though. I still have some pretty bad stomach issues, but I'm trying to like do something physical. What are the best cards to buy right now, right? 6700 XT. I mean, dude, bro, these 3060 Ti's are going to be the ones I want to get my hands on. I don't know how to do that though. They're only selling to OEMs. 256-bit GDDR6X, 608 gigabytes per second. If that comes in at a $399 price tag, then dear Lord. There's that link. I'll see you guys over there in a little while. Until then, I'll see you next Tuesday. We made $4 today on this stream. Yay.